Brian May, thank you for inviting me along to your book launch, which is Diableries.
Indeed.
Is that how you say it?
Well, if you were a Frenchman, you wouldn't be me, but it's more like Diableries.
Okay.
But you have to talk to Denis, my co-author, to get the proper pronunciation. Diableries means devilments, really.
Which is what the book is about. It's 3D imagery.
3D devilments, yes. It's all about a fictitious, or maybe not fictitious, I don't know, a set of people who live in a parallel universe, and they're skeletons who represent the souls of the departed, you and me. But they're very much alive in hell, and they have glowing eyes, and they get up to all kinds of strange tricks, some of which are a bit serious, and some of them are very funny, some of them are very satirical. And it's a whole universe of stuff which nobody has ever seen in the 21st century. It comes from 1860 in France.
Yeah.
And it's kind of seditious and dangerous, and nobody really knew that until now.
But this is something you've been into for a long time. I mean, how did you get into it?
Well, accidents. I always think, you think you're in control of your life, but you're not. Life really consists in taking advantage of the accidents that happen to you, right?
Yeah.
And I think that applies to this. I accidentally stumbled upon stereoscopic images because I found them in my Weetabix packet when I was a kid. They used to give them away, and you used to send off 1 and 6pence for your viewer, and suddenly it was like you were looking through a window into a virtual space. So I was just blown away, and I thought, if this is 3D photography, why isn't everybody doing it? Yeah. And it became a passion which has stayed with me all my life. And then years later, again by accident, I came across a devil card. They used to call them devil cards in Portobello Road Market, in a flea market. Okay. And I was just fascinated, with these. You can see one on the screen now. We're looking at the presentation. Here's the infernal guard, and that's what I saw, lines of skeletons with glowing eyes looking at me. And the more you held it up to the light, the more the colours came out, and the more the eyes would glow at you. And there's scenes of devilment, of things that you couldn't even imagine before you saw these things.
I've got to say, one of my favourite ones is Satan, the journalist. I was like, even back then, we were the devil. I mean, what's your favourite one?
It's very unkind, isn't it? We've put it into the talk tonight, actually. I had to do it because we've got journalists. I mean, how could they do that, depict...
They said that we were two-faced. I mean, it has two faces.
And there's a lady in the corner who's in a chain, who's in chains, and she's in prison, and she's truth. She is truth. She's held him. She will never, ever get out of that cage. So it's very sad, isn't it? So, yeah, they had a good view of journalism. Yeah. The funny thing is nothing changes very much. No. They didn't have TV. We don't have stereoscopic medium, except now you do. Yeah. But they didn't have TV, didn't have films, didn't have radio, so this was their window on the world, and this was their way of talking about things and promoting ideas, So you're looking at, in a sense, something very similar to the internet. And they were putting their ideas over very strongly, very subtly, but very strongly, and particularly being destructive towards Napoleon and his regime. And
you found all of the images that exist apart from 2, is that right?
That's right.
Wow.
Yes, that's right. There are 2 which we're missing, and we're hoping that people will get this book and suddenly think, I know in my attic there's a few of these cards, maybe we have the one. So perhaps we will find those lost images, or they may be lost forever. Yeah. I don't know.
Like you say, you've been into this since you were a kid. Have any of these 3D imageries, like the devil ones, ever made it into any Queen lyrics?
You're thinking of Death on Two Legs, aren't you? Well, there's probably an influence there, subtly, but there's a lot of stereo inferences in Queen stuff. Even if you look at the very first Queen album and you turn it over and look at the back, there's a little stereo image right there of Roger's drum kit. Well, actually a model of Roger and his drum kit. And if you use your owl, which you get with the Diableries book, to look at that, you'll see that in 3D. So you can see it was always there with me. 3D's always been a big part of my life, as have the devilments, as has... well, also animals. My feelings for animals have been there since I was a kid. So.
And what about making a concept album based on this book?
I don't think I have the time.
You are a busy man, aren't you? I mean, like you say, you've got your badges, you've got your solo album, you've got the Queen stuff. How do you make the time to do all of that?
It's just a question of not sleeping, really.
Yeah.
which you can take to a certain extent. I don't sleep very much, but now and again I have to catch up. But yeah, I love working. I don't really like lying around on beaches or, you know, sitting around drinking and doing very little. You know, I'm not that kind of a person. I'm a person who loves to create and loves to be busy and involved in stuff and make magical things happen.
Well,
I love
you
that.
certainly have been doing some of that over the years, that's for sure. So the archive of music that you found, the Queen stuff, I heard a funny story about Michael Jackson when he came into the studio with Freddie, that he brought a llama or a lemur or something like that. Is that true?
I think that's absolutely true, yes.
What was the deal with that? What happened?
He had well, I wasn't there, but Michael did have this pet with him at the time, which is a bit controversial even then. I think it would be even more controversial now. Yeah, he brought his animal into the studio. Yeah.
Oh, weird. So how's...
I don't think Freddie was that impressed.
No,
Freddie,
I can imagine. How's that coming along, the album?
It's fine. Everybody asks me. It's fine, yeah. I mean, these things go at their own pace. I don't know how much we'll get done. And we may end up with an album which is partly retrospective and partly new stuff. We'll just have to see how it goes. Because you can't really rush this stuff. You know, you have to find your way, and you can't just stick things on a couple of vocal tracks. You have to really feel your way. And you know, the same as always, if you're making a Queen album, it can't be rushed.
And the movie? How's it coming along?
The movie's great. Yeah, I think we're about to press the button because we think we have the right director. We think we have the right leading chap. And we think the script is almost there.
The chap? Who is he?
Well, Roger's already spilled the beans that we've been talking to Ben Whishaw, and we have. Okay. And I think he's hot favourite at the moment. But I don't know if he's going to sign. You know, you never know until the last minute. You know, I don't know if negotiations will succeed or not. We shall just have to wait and see.
Well, he's definitely eccentric, isn't he? A bit like Freddie.
Fabulous. Yeah, he is fabulous. He's a great actor, and at the right point in his career, really. And in a sense, we needed somebody who wasn't an internationally hugely recognisable face, because, you know, that's really why we veered away from the Sacha Baron Cohen thing, because he is so recognisable and so much a character of his own that it would have been distracting. You know, we want to put someone on the screen who people will absolutely believe is Freddie without question. And I think it would work with Ben. We shall see.
Team Rock Radio.